It's Aaron, the Metal Theologian. Just winging it today. The only thing that I really kind of decided on is that I'm going to drink a Yoo-Hoo. So I just want one of these. It's funny, I just turned my fucking, my 14-year-old onto these things. Like, cause he likes Hawaiian Punch. He doesn't like anything carbonated, which I've always thought was kind of weird. But like, you know, root beers and shit like that, he has no interest in. He likes Hawaiian Punch. So I don't know, I just thought of this one day and I was like, hey, have you ever tried a Yoo-Hoo? I'm not sure. So I got some and, cheers. Yeah, it's funny, you have Yoo-Hoo in the house a lot more often these days. So what we're listening to? We're listening to Attack. It's a German band, and this is really good. It's actually really kind of epic sounding. Let's see, can you see this? Like, for a German band, this is really pretty epic metal, you know? I mean, they really kind of have that songwriting, they kind of have that groove to a certain degree. They don't really have the singer, and they don't always have that groove, you know what I mean? But they sort of slide into it. You know, again, you don't hear a lot of that out of Germany, even though they love it, so I don't know. You know, it's funny saying that with like bands like Blind Guardian and Helloween haven't gotten so big, but like overall, the time period we're talking about here, the really important shit that was coming out of Germany was more like the thrash. This record's 86, I want to say. Fuck, I don't know, it doesn't say right on here. But I kind of want to qualify that just because it's, you know, it's not like there was never another band in Germany that meet those criteria. Now this guy's mustache, we have to point out here. There it is. Anyway, it's a really cool record, and I kind of just got it on the strength of the cover from my record dealer friend in Colombia, actually. Yeah, another one that actually finally clicked for me that I've been listening to is this guy, Red Raw and Bleeding by Blood Money. So I grabbed these reissues of both the albums when they came out, I don't know, a year or two ago on Heavy Forces. These might still be around. I don't know, they're out of Greece, so, you know, you might have to work a little bit to find them. You can probably still get them. Yeah, anyway, I played this a couple times, and I've, you know, seen the record cover, and I was a little bit skeptical because I thought it looked a little bit goofy. But I was like, you know, I'm really curious, though, and it's fucking... I liked that it was heavy, but it didn't click, but now it's clicked. And I fucking love this whole thing. Even the bonus tracks are good, in fact. That's gonna be like my new thing now, is talking about bonus tracks and how awesome they are. No, it's 2 tracks from a BBC radio session from '87. And they just sound good. The sound is good on them, and it's not perfect, but it's kind of cool. If it were my reissue, I probably wouldn't have stuck them on there just because it still breaks the flow, but the tracks themselves are good, man, so I'm not going to argue with. Here's one that did not click. That's this one, this Def Leppard First Strike shit. I was on the Man Cave of Doom podcast a few days ago and we talked about some of this shit. Maybe not this specifically, but shit of this caliber. No, we did talk about Def Leppard. Anyway, this is like some really early sessions from like 79. This is like the sort of gray market release, is my understanding. I don't really know very much about it, and I don't care all that much either. But it's like really sort of primitive versions of a lot of the songs that appeared on the first album. And a couple might have been unreleased. I don't even know. I have to compare, and I kind of don't give a shit. Yeah, anyway, it's funny because I really kind of want to love the early Def Leppard like the most out of the shit out of their catalog, just because, you know, you can't deny that as corny as they became, when they were like early on, they were hungry. And even if you hate those records, like, you know, they were sincere. They were really going for it, you know. So, yeah, the thing is, High and Dry, I think, is a better record. I think it's because the songs are better, you know. It sounds so much slicker, you know, and I really kind of want to side with the underdog and, you know, see this record as something really special. But, yeah, the Dollar record's better. So, what can I say, man? It's kind of how it shakes out sometimes. But sometimes it shakes out like this. If Doom Paul is watching, he's going to pull his wallet out as soon as he sees this cover. Check that shit out. Orquídea Negra. I think they're Brazilian. Yeah, you'd think I'd know this shit. I was actually positive until just a minute ago, but they're on this label that mostly does Brazilian bands. I think they did a couple from Argentina. That's why I'm sort of double checking myself here, or second guessing myself, I should say. But I'm pretty sure this is Brazilian. Anyway, it's like has a couple kind of corny songs, and it's kind of a classic heavy metal sound to it overall. Beyond that, it's kind of cheesy. You know, it kind of lives up to that cover in terms of how much cheese sort of comes through, and not necessarily. It's not epic the way that would sort of imply. But you know, here's the thing: is like the best thing about this thing, this cover. Is it even as this angel and death are like arm wrestling, they're holding dildos with their other hands. Look at that. What the fuck? Yeah, someone thought that was a good idea. And then they drew it. Yeah, man. Fucking South Americans slay all, I'm telling you. There's actually another one here, which is kind of a standard, like, thrashy one, but still really good, man. I mean, not really remarkable in terms of, you know, just as far as, it doesn't sound like a groundbreaking album, you know, but it's just a fun record, you know, Exterminio. So, and these ones I don't even know well enough to opine on the bonus tracks, so. I mean, I don't know the albums that well, and the things don't stand out so much that, like, makes a big difference, so. So I gotta show this. Because I've actually been listening to a lot of Sun Ra, too. Like, that's what I've been sort of balancing the metal with. Every once in a while I put, like, a 70s hard rock one on, but Sun Ra. Yeah, and this is still one of my favorite ones, and it's mostly just because so much of it is just, him playing that weird synth, you know? I mean, there's stuff with band on here, but a lot of it is just, like, long, like, weird electronic solos that are just, like, so fucking whacked out. You know, there's a lot of really cool electronic music out there, but like a lot of it feels really sort of clinical and academic. Sun Ra like brings that aesthetic to it, but with the jazz sensibility, I can just listen to that shit all day, man. And here's another one actually. There's a lot of sort of vocal stuff on it, and you can't really see the cover on this version anyway. But this is the Antique Blacks, and I probably haven't talked about this one as much as I ought to over the years because. You know, I've done a couple videos on like starter Sun Ra records and shit, and I don't think this one's ever made the top 5 in any of those, but this is a fantastic record, and it might actually be one of my favorite, like, top 5. Specifically what I like about this one is that there's a lot of Roxachord on it, like that same weird thing that he plays on Night of the Purple Moon. So, yeah, just great stuff though. A lot of singing on this one too, you know. But like when all the lyrics consist of this song is dedicated to nature's God, just repeated over and over, it's like, I can't get upset about that, you know? It's like there's jazz and then there's Sun Ra, you know? In fact, I played this one too. This is one of the ones they recorded in Italy in the late 70s. Same deal with the other one. This is actually just quartet stuff. And, you know, because they didn't have, like, the whole orchestra for the whole time they were in Italy. There's a story, but I don't really know the whole thing. But some of this stuff is really kind of traditional, too. Like, some of the songs in here, like, I want to say My Favorite Things is on here, something like that. Yeah, My Favorite Things, the first song. Well, you know, that's really about it, actually. So, yeah, this was really great, too. Out of the Horo records, there were 3 of these doubles that came out on the Horo label out of Italy. And I think out of the 3, that this one is probably my favorite. But it also might be the one with the blue cover. So, I might have to pull that one out and take a step back and think about it before committing. Alright. So that was Attack. I know I'm going to fire up next. As soon as I find that fucking inner sleeve, right? Actually got it. So, there's a channel called Chromium Dioxide Radio. And it seems like the guy's been doing a show for a while. It's a relatively new channel on YouTube, but you know, the stuff's like really produced, and the guy really knows his shit. So I don't know what the backstory is there, but it's a really cool channel. You ought to check it out. Anyway, that guy did a couple of videos. One was on like he does these things where he like does the top 5 records by a certain band, like, and he'll do it with a friend. And he did one on Judas Priest and one on AC/DC. And Judas Priest, they talked about this one, and AC/DC, they talked about this one. So as soon as I get another record on here, I'm going to talk about those for a minute. I'm going to throw this on, fucking War Child. It's not as heavy as it looks, but it's a cool record, man. It's fucking so corny in a way, but so epic at the same time, too. Yeah, so anyway, oh, sorry, they're just fingerprints on this. I didn't realize were there, so I'll play the other side. So yeah, you know, it's like this record, the only reason I have this is because I found it like really cheap, like for $1 or something like that, a couple of years ago. Pretty sure in Colombia. That's kind of rough condition, but I kind of don't give a shit. It was kind of more like, oh, it's right there. I can't just like turn my back on this record, you know? But pretty much every song on this really is bad, you know? It's like, maybe it's just that my opinion of this record was formed so long ago that it's just like encased in concrete now and I can't change it. But like, on the one hand, it's a weird feeling to hear a song like Inject the Venom, right? And like to know that song so well, even though in my head it's such a crappy song, you know what I mean? It doesn't usually happen so much unless it's a song like fucking Walk of Life, which is one reason I hate Dire Straits with such a hot passion. Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of a dumb... Dude, every fucking song on here, man. COD, Evil Walks, Night of the Long Knives. Every one of these songs is dumb. The title track, you know, that's kind of like the big, like, showpiece. Man, I don't understand. And for some reason, I still love this record, too, is the thing. Like, I really couldn't, in good conscience, put this in my top 5. I'd feel like I was fucking with people, right? But, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just because I got into AC/DC at such a tender age. Now, this one... I don't know. Last time I tried to play this one, I didn't even make it all the way through. This past time, which was yesterday, I think, I did make it all the way through. I did have to force myself to finish Rock You All Around the World. That was tough. But that was the only thing where I felt like I was, you know, working. I mean, even some of the really corny songs on here, like Private Property, have kind of good parts, you know? I mean, that's really maybe their most boneheaded song ever, but it's really not the worst riff ever. So, I don't know, man. I still can't give this any kind of accolades at all, you know? But I can still hang with that AC/DC record, but somehow that Judas Priest record kind of ends up on the wrong side of that, you know? But it's probably a similar story as with, what's that other one called? With Heading Out to the Highway on it? I'm spacing, but you know which one I'm talking about. So, yeah, that record was fucking Hot Rockin' is the single. That record sucks too, and in a way that one's worse, because this one, half the songs are bad. Well, a third of the songs are just hopelessly bad. Half the songs are kind of bad. The other half of the songs are decent. It's still marred by the production. You know what I mean? But that other one, the songs are just worse. Like, I think there are 2 songs in there that aren't even just like boring as hell. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's a weird thing. Like, in a way, if I were like doing this on points, like a boxing match or something, I think Turbo would probably win. But I don't know. Yeah, why can't I remember the name of that fucking record, man? It's gonna drive... Now it's starting to bother me. God damn it, well fuck it. You know something? See, I could either walk over and look at the record, which I don't feel like doing because it would disrupt the video, or I could look it up on my phone, which I hate when people fucking run. That's like on Grown Man Record Night. I think once in a... Well, no, I'm not gonna say that, but yeah, when Steve is fucking with his phone on there, man, I'm right there in the chat going, dude, put the fucking thing down. I'd rather be wrong about something than have my phone. But I say this with nothing but affection, because Steve Fever's a hell of a guy, you know, friend. This is great, kind of, it's one of those Finnish records, right? So this is a Zisma Deluxe. This one has a pretty decent groove going. Still has some death metal sounds though, and then a few things where it kind of just sort of goes off and does its own thing. It's a lot more mixed a record than like Lotto, even though it's really similar, I think, in spirit. So, yeah, if I'm going to recommend one, I mean, Lotto is the one that hooked me, so it's probably the one I'd suggest. But this one is really cool, too. If you like Zisma enough to give a shit at all, you should probably listen to this one, too. And on a similar note, I showed this the other night, so... But, yeah, isn't this like the most Finnish band name there is? Lubricant? That just sounds like they were Finnish. I fucking love it. This is kind of in a similar vein as that other shit, that Zisma shit. This is, I don't know, it looks a lot more pretentious than it is. It actually kind of swings a little bit. It's a lot more sort of grindy or deathy than, you know, sort of groove metal-y, but there's enough of it there that it keeps me entertained, and I actually played it kind of a lot with it. So, it's a cool record. There's some other kind of cornball records that I've sort of been revisiting, too. I don't remember how the hell some of this shit came up. This one I pulled out. This is one that I never really dug as much as it felt like it ought to. I mean, I've never not liked Riot. I've always liked Riot, you know? But there's sort of been like Saxon for me, where it's like they're cool, but it's not really a band I'd go far out of my way for, you know what I mean? But, I missed the end of, speaking of Man Cave and Doom, when John Bip Bop Boom was on there, I missed the end of that one, and so I went back and watched it, and he was talking about Riot, and specifically this album, Fire Down Under, as being one of his favorites ever, and, you know, I think I'm starting to get it now. Yeah, like, I found myself really enjoying this record a lot, the sort of, like the little things that were sort of weird about it that I didn't care for, started to bother me a lot less. So it was only positive. And here's a guilty pleasure. I'm actually going to rebag this. This isn't like a sign of contempt that it's not in, but you know something? Well, you know something? What can I say? It's actually kind of a shitty album in a lot of ways by like a lot of my usual criteria. But for like a super corporate metal record, this is fantastic. And it's really a lot darker than they sort of look. I mean, look at how corny this fucking guy looks. I mean, what a cheeseball. Look at that fucking wig, dude. And look at that fucking pose, man. It's like no wonder I hated these guys so much back then. But this is a darker record than it looks, man. All their shit kind of is, and I kind of have come to appreciate that about Dokken. All right. What else are we gonna show? I'm playing this record a lot again. I was going to put it away soon, but this record is just fucking, I don't know. I really kind of missed the boat on these guys when I was still living in Cleveland. So, I mean, this is 86, so I wasn't in Cleveland at that point. By the time I got back there in like 88 or something, maybe some of it had died down a little bit, but these guys are playing around and I never saw them, so, yeah. It's a great record, though, man. Like, Jeff Hatrix, their singer, is like what you want a metal singer to sound like, you know. He, like, has a lot of force and a lot of sort of gravel in there. But it's not just, like, total, like, you know, death metal or something like that. Like, some kind of just, like, pure shit, you know. It's like, there's actual singing involved, so. It's good stuff. So... now we're a little deeper into the video, and so, you know, the more serious people are the ones who are watching. This is kind of, I don't normally talk about anything money related, right, but, this was like my find of the week. This blew my fucking mind. I shouldn't even show this because I'm afraid like the place where I got it will be like, oh shit, we made a mistake, and start being more diligent. But there's a shop here that the shit's generally overpriced, but about once a year I'll get a tremendous deal on something. And this was it. Drywater Southpaw. It's a private press out of Charlotte, North Carolina from '74. And like it's kind of rockin'. It's like a rockin' '70s record, like a heavy '70s record, sort of. Only it's not really that heavy. It's more rock than it is hard. You know what I mean? And it's more '70s than it is heavy for sure. But I really like this record a lot. I mean, I already had the reissue on Void from like probably 15 years ago now, something like that. So, and when I got rid of a bunch of that stuff, when I was down on the hippie shit before I rediscovered and rebought all those fucking records. But when I got rid of that shit, I kept the dry water one. So anyway, check out what I paid for this fucking thing. $3. Oh shit, you saw where I got it now too. Yeah, though, $3, man. And this is an original. It's a little bit like worn shit on the edges, like of that corner, but the record itself, the vinyl, is in nice shape, and this is a pretty decent copy. So I know what I'd appraise it at. I'll let you all look it up yourselves if you want. But I couldn't believe I found that for $3. All right, well. Yeah, I've been kind of just sort of pulling some shit out to try it. And you know something, man? I'm trying to see what else I've got here. But here's what I keep meaning to talk about and keep forgetting to. I might have talked about Snow White, actually. I think I fucking did. Anyway, this record isn't all that great. But they look pretty awesome. They don't live up to their looks. So, yeah. Definitely don't pay a lot for this one if you see it. I didn't. Yeah, you know something? Fuck it, I think we're done. So, one last thing, because, you know, I got some sympathy for, you know, the record store they missed out, and I appreciate that on the one hand, but on the other hand, it makes me a little self-conscious, because I don't want to be one of those channels where I like whining about record store day shit. I was more pissed at the guy, to tell you the truth, than about the actual record, and it's not like I'm still mad at the guy. I was kind of just spouting off, but anyway, I missed the Sun Ra, okay, but there were these other ones that in my local shop didn't get any of. These might have just been like, I don't know, they're on an American label, but they seem like they might have been imports for some reason anyway. Anyway, they redid a couple of these. This label called Real Gone redid some of these black jazz records. And given what that shit, how hard that shit is to find, like it was really cool to find like that record or this one that I'm about to show. God damn it. Okay, well, what I was about to show is the fucking Walter Bishop Choral Keys. And, yeah, I just flip around too much, I think. So, yeah, fuck it. You know something? If you're interested in that kind of shit, leave a comment and I'll say more about it. But otherwise, just look for those black jazz reissues because those are great records and it's hard to touch originals. So, alright, thanks for watching. I almost finished my Yoo-Hoo, but not quite. I'm going to finish it, though. You better believe it. Okay, thanks for watching.